Do you like smoked tri-tip low and slow just like it's a brisket? Holy cow, isn't low and slow barbecue the best? What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossy, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and today I thought I'd walk you through the process on how to smoke a tri-tip low and slow. You can see here I plated this up with a delicious mashed potato and a simple garden side salad. Holy cow, is this meal ever delicious. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Come on along for the ride. Join my community of home cooks and I'll teach you the entire process here. And don't forget, go check out my YouTube channel. I have tons of barbecue recipes out now. Oh, buddy. Anyway, check out this unbelievable tri-tip. I'm going to cover it in Unreal Pepper Rub by Maritime Madness. Pretty excited about this rub. It actually ended up building quite the bark compared to what I was expecting. Seriously pumped about it. So let's go ahead and get this tri-tip fully coated. Now, when you're seasoning your meat, it's really important that you don't rub it in. I know it's called a dry rub, but that's not what you do with it. You want to pet in the dry rub. That's super important here. If you rub it in, it will totally just wang jangle the whole piece of meat. So like I said, pet it in just like that. Then we're going to make sure we coat the other side as well, because fully seasoning your cuts of meat is super important. So again, we're going to repeat the exact same process. We're going to just liberally season up this piece of tri-tip, and then we're going to go ahead and pet in that dry rub. Again, super important step here. Really don't skip on it. Another thing to do here, make sure you're seasoning the sides of your meat. You can tell I have my hand there. What that's doing is kind of like reflecting a little bit onto the sides there. You can even pet it into the sides if you pick up a little bit extra, or pick up the meat itself and just kind of like dab it in. So you can see here, I'm just using the butcher paper though to kind of collect all that seasoning in there. Just get it fully coated. Now, when you coat this, it depends on how intense you want of a bark, but I think roughly this right here, this coating amount, is probably the best you need to try and start your bark out. So don't go too crazy to begin with. You can over season this, but yeah, when you're trying to build a bark, you do want to make sure you've generously applied this dry rub. So seriously, get it on there. All right, let's move over to the smoker. Today I'm running this smoker at 250 degrees. I'm using pellets on this grill, and I'm using a mix of hickory, oak, and maple pellets. I really enjoy the flavor from all three of those types of wood, and I find when you mix them together, it goes great with beef. Again, that was maple, hickory, and oak. Holy cow. So I'm going to run this thing low and slow, like I said, at 250 degrees on this pellet smoker until it hits 165 degrees internal. Now I'm going to be monitoring this with a meat thermometer. That's really important, okay? And you know, just pay attention. Once you hit that 165 mark, that's when we're going to pull it off and we're going to give it a little bit of a bath in some beef tallow. Then we're going to wrap it in butcher paper, put it back on the smoker, or depending on your setup, you can put it just into the oven to finish off, but we're going to finish it off at a final temperature of 203, okay? So let me quickly go through that again. We're going to put it directly on the smoker like this. We're going to let it get up to 165 degrees internal. Then we're going to render down that beef tallow. You can see it there in my little cast iron dish over to the side. Here's a closer view at it. And we're just going to get that rendered down a little bit. And like I said, at 165 degrees, we're going to pull this tri-tip. You can see we're getting close to that. That sweating you're seeing on the top indicates we're around that 165. So I grabbed my my thermometer, stuck it in there, and I saw that we were getting real close to 165. So again, what you want to do is pull it off. We're going to bathe it in that beef tallow and then wrap it in butchered paper, and we're going to put it back in either the smoker or the oven, and we're going to let it finish off up to about 203. You can go a little bit past that or a little bit under, but I find 203 is the perfect mark there. So here I am. I hit that 165 and I'm drizzling all that beef tallow over top. Now, no joke, I'm serious. We're rewrapping this in butcher paper, okay? So once I did that, threw it back on the oven. This was the result. You know, like I said, you can put it in the oven. It does not need to be the smoker. Once it's wrapped in butcher paper, it pretty much doesn't add more smoke flavor. So finishing it off in the oven is perfectly fine. And considering the oven is such a controlled temperature, it also works great. So check out this tri-tip, smoked low and slow. Oh, buddy, it's so juicy, tender, and delicious. This is going to be amazing. Now, one thing you need to know about a tri-tip is the way you cut it, okay? So there's two grains that run through a tri-tip, and we want to cut against the grain in both cases. That's super important. So by slicing it like this, into halves, I'm able to then rotate each half and slice across the grain appropriately. That's really important with tri-tip or basically any low and slow barbecue. When you're biting with the grain, it's more tough. So when you go and slice against the grain, it makes it even more fall apart and delicious. Like, holy cow, seriously amazing. Really, really, really enjoyed this. Like, oh, buddy. I mean, just look at that bark. Like I was saying, I wasn't expecting this to have such an awesome bark. Not that I'm disappointed, or sorry, not that I'm shocked. Like, I wasn't expecting to be disappointed, but like, holy cow, this I'm thrilled to know that there is a seasoning from the Maritimes that builds this quality of bark. Holy cow. So let's finish off. We're going to slice into this other side. We're just going to check it out. Now, I know some of you might be looking at this and go, holy cow, that is overdone. Trust me, if you've never had low and slow brisket, it is so juicy, tender, and delicious. And this tri-tip mimics it perfectly. That's one of the reasons we do this. So with a brisket, it takes 14 hours to cook, then 8 hours to rest. It's like a 24-hour marathon almost. But with this tri-tip, this can be done in under 8 hours. And this is your result. You get that delicious smoke ring. You get that perfect bite of beef. Just look how tender and delicious this is. Holy cow. For real. Pull apart and melt in your mouth. It basically checks all the boxes. I'm actually really thrilled about this. Like, seriously, seriously. Now, I plated this up with some mashed potatoes and a salad, but by golly, you should see some of the sliders I made with the leftovers. So like I said earlier, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's totally worth it. Let's take another look at that crust though that we built. That bark is perfect, man. These juicy little niblets, oh buddy, they were so delicious. Every single bite was so tender, juicy, and delicious. Man, oh man. Re-looking at this, I'm reliving this. This was just a 10 out of 10. Holy cow. Oh. So thanks again for watching. It means so much to me. Like I said before, I plated this up with some garlic mashed potatoes and a simple side salad. Nothing too crazy, but still simple and delicious. And remember, if you have a smoker at home, you can do all these same recipes too. My name's Saucy Rossy. I'm the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. I'm constantly dropping knowledge on how to up your game in the backyard with your grill. So make sure you like and subscribe. Come on along for the fun. Comment below if you've ever had this recipe. Make sure you check me out on Instagram and TikTok. Oh, and I hope you just have a wonderful day. Enjoy your barbecue, enjoy the outdoors, and take care and stay safe.